Hello and welcome to the Will and Colby podcast, where we're breaking down the new UA, the biggest UA from 1D&D, 77 pages. We're going to be kicking off with the first three new classes, the updated Bard, the updated Cleric, and the updated Druid, all with new subclasses, in some cases, totally new subclasses. These are subclasses that have never been seen before. And then we're going to hop over to Colby's channel, and we're going to be covering the Ranger, Paladin, and Rogue. And I'll also pop out a video on the Monk. It might already be out, or it'll be out tomorrow. But in case you don't know who Colby is, Colby, would you just very quickly introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, Colby. I run a YouTube channel called D4, D&D Deep Dive. But yeah, I just do like character builds each week, character build for my channel. The running gag in the comment section last time we did this with the last UA was, oh, it's D&D shorts and D&D longs. So yeah, we do pretty similar stuff, you and I, Will, but I just am more long-winded.
The better, smarter, less hyperactive version of me. So yeah, absolutely check that out. Obviously you'll have to go across for part 2 anyway, so while you're there, subscribe. And
please,
should we we'll jump right into the Bard. But first, have you ever looked at a rune and thought, damn, I need some of that in my games? Because that's what your voice totally sounds like to other people. Well, get your beautiful butt over to Kalia's Chronicle of Runes, a full 5e compendium of new races, lore, and more, tied up in runic magic. There's new subclasses, spells, a full runic system to enhance your games, and over 80 epic and terrifying new monsters. It has over 400 magic runes, spanning every language, and even comes with the devastating Dracolisk Mini. Plus epic dice, playmats, tokens, cards, more dice, weapons, and everything you could ever want. Put the rune in ruining the game as you level up your campaign with epic runic magic. Link in description, back now on Kickstarter. If we scroll down, they put these little gray boxes in which basically tell you everything that's been changed.
Right.
So if you go, it's the design note Bard update. Yeah, so
there we go.
I guess I'll read this out. So the Bardic Inspiration has returned to its 2014 form with the following changes. So a Bardic Inspiration die is used in response to failing a D20 test. You no longer have to guess whether you failed. So it's a reactive thing. That's better, right? You don't have to decide to use it in advance.
Yeah. Although I really liked the way that they had it set up in the UA. Because you could use it as a reaction. It looks like the Bard isn't the one deciding to use it anymore. It's now they've gone back to, I'm giving you inspiration.
I give you inspiration, and then you use it whenever you want. So less flavorful, perhaps, but better mechanically. And that's actually something that we've seen a lot of through this UA. Like the new Warlock, for example, so much less flavor might arguably be better mechanically. I mean,
right.
So, that's something to think about. And the second change here is a creature has up to an hour, not just 10 minutes to use it.
Okay, that's definitely an improvement. And I guess that kind of, because before it was like, hey, Bard, you use it as a reaction, like when you want to prevent it from being like, I gave you inspiration, 10 minutes went by, I never used it, wasted inspiration.
Exactly.
At least this is maybe kind of a happy medium where the player you give it to is still in charge. It doesn't require the reaction from the Bard, which feels a little penalizing almost. And now that it lasts an hour, you're much less likely to forget about it, maybe, or at least much less likely for it to expire before you get a chance to use it.
I'm just thinking about this hour thing as well. Would that let you be able to sort of rest trick your Bardic Inspiration if you're going to
once you got Font of Inspiration?
Yeah, once you can recycle on a short rest, if you give everyone inspiration towards the end of your short rest and then you get them all back, you can kind of just hand it out at the end of a short rest and get them all back. I mean, that's something.
But a short rest takes an hour, right? So like combat would have to begin like
within. It would have to begin pretty quick after. But it's something to think about as well, because I give my players much shorter rests, like short rests.
You do like a Matt Mercer.
If they want to take 10 minutes, like a power nap, I give them a 10-minute one. So that's something to think about.
And actually, like, if nothing else, even rules as written, like the catnap spell, for example, or like the Warlock Genie higher level feature, Does that give you? I don't know. Anyway,
It does. It's a 10-minute short rest
Yeah.
in your vessel. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
So you can sneak out extra things with this. So that's really good.
That's cool. All right, where'd we leave off? The healing option, right?
Yes, so they've taken away the healing option. Was encouraging too much use hoarding, which is the right, because you could heal yourself with your bardic inspiration. Yeah. So they want you to be giving your they want you to be giving away your bardic inspiration. Don't hoard it for yourself. Yeah, makes sense, right?
I can see that, and I would totally be guilty of that. I would be like, oh, I don't want to use my bardic inspirations because if somebody drops, I want to be able to bring them back, and I'm out of spell slots or whatever. So yeah, that feels like a nerf, but it's probably mechanically good.
Encourages players to take more exciting actions.
Use it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna skip over all this stuff. Oh, the gray box continues.
Okay, do you want to take this
Sure.
this one?
Spellcasting has 2 noteworthy changes. 1, each bard gets to choose whether to use the arcane, divine, or primal spell list. Wow, that's awesome.
So that's
and it really,
very flexible.
It really kind of solidifies the bard's role as this sort of flexible caster, right? The sort of jack of all trades. Although, even if it does kind of pigeonhole you in, I'm assuming you have to make this decision right when you create your character, but still, that's pretty cool and might be a really neat way, especially maybe with some multi-classing or, based on other things that you do. Magical secrets still could let you cherry pick, your favorites from other spell lists. They could be, that's cool. I like that.
So if you ever wanted to play a charisma druid, this is almost a bit like that, right? You can take the druid spell list and have a charisma caster. So pretty fun.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and 2, spell preparation is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots. The first change leans into the fact that a bard might have learned their arts in an arcane, divine, or primal context, and the second change was widely requested in the playtest feedback. Cool. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% clear on, and I think I might have misspoken in our last video when we did this about how the UA changes like prepared spells versus known spells, et cetera, and so when I read that, it doesn't, like, I don't understand the context.
It sounds like they've gone back to what the bard originally was, right? So you can you just prepare spells sort of as you go,
as many as you want. You don't do like a certain number per spell level.
Yeah. So if you want to just tank yourself up on first level spells with the intention of upcasting, you can.
Got it. Jack of all trades is returned to 2nd level. Cool. Bard subclass levels now match the level progression in the 2014 Bard, ensuring compatibility with subclasses already in print. Okay, I need to say something about this because I did watch the video that Jeremy Crawford did with Todd, right? Where they gave like an overview of what was coming, and they talked about this. They mentioned how they were interested in it being backwards compatible, and therefore they were going to make sure that all of the characters, like subclass progression they went back to like the level that they got their features at before. And I was really bummed about that because
really
I don't care about backwards compatibility. Like if the next version of D&D, I'm going to call it 6th edition, even though they don't want to call it 6th edition. If 6th edition is better than 5th edition, then I'm going to play it. And if it sucks, then maybe I'll probably keep playing 5e. Like, I don't need it to be backwards compatible. Like, this is not like a PC that I don't want to have to upgrade my graphics card for. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like if they're so focused on trying to be backwards compatible, they're going to shackle themselves and prevent themselves from making changes that might be better for the game, but they don't make them in the name of being backwards compatible. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is wonderful to hear, because that articulates something. You hit something very meaningful there, which is that this weird place that this UA, this whole like one D&D thing is sitting, because it feels like to me they initially wanted to treat it like a new edition, kind of. Right. They wanted everyone to feel like they had to buy these books, right? You got to buy these books. Right. That makes sense. You want people to buy the books, so you make changes that people kind of have to buy to keep up. Then they hear that people don't like that because you know, you're like, oh, well, why are you changing everything? We like it the way it was. So if they're just going to do these small updates, tweaking here and there, suddenly they can't argue that everyone needs to buy the books anymore.
Right.
So people want it to be backwards compatible. That means you can't change too much stuff. That means we can't call it a new edition anymore. Because if people buy it thinking it's a new edition and nothing's really changed, I mean, the truth is, as we go through this, we might see that not much is actually really changing. But that's a missed opportunity, isn't it? In a way,
I don't want another Tasha's Cauldron of everything. Like, I want something bigger than that. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that I don't like 5e. I love 5e. I think it's the best version of D&D to date. But yeah, like, I don't know. And not only that, but so in this case, for example, like, it sucks that rogues don't get their second subclass feature until level 9, right? Don't go back to that. Like, I was happy with you know, doing like, okay, look at levels, I don't even remember what the levels were, 3, 6, 9, and whatever, you know, everybody's going to get subclass features regardless of your subclass. I don't know, that kind of bums me out.
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure they are keeping that everyone's subclass starts at level 3.
Yes,
I know they're keeping that for sure.
Yeah.
So at least, so there are some things, but I mean, yeah.
Which, you know, for people who just like live for multi-classing with their characters, like I tend to do, that's almost like, well, don't keep that, like.
Yeah, that's balancing between the classes there.
It is.
But no, I completely agree. And I wonder if what we'll end up saying is that there is no good reason this shouldn't be a Tasha's book. Maybe that's what we'll end up saying in a year's time. Right. We'll end up saying, look, they're trying to charge people for $3, but really you could have put all these meaningful changes in like a, you know, 4 sheets of A4. Hey, this ability is a bit different. This ability is a bit different.
Right.
Other, you know,
here's some new subclasses.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on. The Font of Inspiration is returned to 5th level. Cool. And it now also allows you to expend spell slots to use Bardic Inspiration if you're out of uses. Nice. Ooh,
little quality of life.
I really like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, because a lot of times I'll do things where I'm like, I'm just assuming you're going to have enough uses of your Bardic Inspiration here. But sometimes that's hard to assume depending on the table that you play at and how many short rests you get. But that's nice.
There are some subclasses where you wouldn't ever think that a Bardic Inspiration would be better than a spell slot. But there are some classes where it is, like the Swords Bard. Yeah. Where you're trying to attack and use your flourish all the time. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Okay, let's see. But a counter charm returns and has been improved. Okay, cool. We might have to look at that.
Take a look at counter charm.
7th level and can be used as a reaction rather than an action. Very nice. That in and of itself is a big improvement.
It was basically useless before. Counter charm. It was never used. I don't think I ever saw it played.
No, it's kind of the running. I would see it played, and then I would look at my friend Preston, who always plays bards, and be like, "Dude, why are you wasting your turn?" Okay, Magical Secrets has returned to 10th level and now affects your spell choice for all your later bard levels. Okay, cool. Words of Creation is a new 20th level feature replacing Epic Boon, right? They talked about this in that video. Epic Boon feats will return in a future UA, but they won't be built into a class's level progression. I have mixed feelings about that too. I guess, like, I get it. They wanted level 20. They wanted it to be like when you hit level 20 in your character class to feel like I'm so glad I got to Bard 20, you know, because I get this cool Bard feature instead of I'm so glad I got to Bard 20 because now I get to choose an epic boon that everybody else gets to choose when they get to level 22.
Absolutely.
And that makes sense. But I like the epic boons. And I'm sad that they might become more of a at the DM's discretion thing. But maybe that's just me.
No, I agree. I mean, putting the final feature at level 18 encouraged multi-classing a little bit.
Yeah.
And I, you know, this is pure conspiracy, but I feel like they really struggle to balance around multi-classing.
They do.
So by incentivizing multi-classing in any way, they kind of you break the game more and more because it's so difficult to balance around the assumption that people are going to be pulling levels from everywhere.
Yeah.
Even though I love multiclassing, so
Yes.
we'll have to check out what it actually does when we get there. So it looks like the first thing we're going to be moving to check out is the new counter charm. Let's see what it actually does.
Right.
Got the new counter charm, magical secrets, and words of creation. Everything else is basically the same.
Counter charm. Yeah. You want to read it?
Yes, so you can use musical notes or words of power to disrupt mind-influencing effects. If you or a creature within 30 feet of you fails a saving throw against an effect that applies the charmed or frightened condition, you can use your reaction to cause the save to be re-rolled, and the new roll has advantage.
Okay. That's much better.
It's certainly much better. Charmed and frightened come up a lot. The two most common conditions, I think. Maybe
it doesn't affect multiple targets like counter charm did before, but the fact that you can use it as a reaction, and that they get advantage, and you use it after they've failed the save, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
The temptation whenever we see an ability upgraded like this is to compare it to the previous ability, which sucked, and say that it's great. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, it's so much better than the old counter charm. It must be amazing.
Is it good?
Is it good in its own right? This still feels like quite a weak ability.
Yeah, it's not amazingly strong. It is so much better, but you or a creature within 30 feet of you fails a saving throw. I mean, there's no limit to how often it can be used.
Yeah, every turn, right? Like it uses your reaction, but every round you could.
Yeah, it's just your reaction. Like I could see them. Well, yeah, no, I think it's not bad. I mean, if they were to put a cap on it and say proficiency bonus times per day or whatever, I would be like, but like I hit 7th level. Anytime somebody fails a charmed or feared saving throw, reaction, roll again, this time with advantage. I mean, obviously the problem becomes, well, look, like if you have a crap wisdom save, then you're probably going to fail it again anyway. Right? So maybe what it needs to be is, instead of with advantage, add your bardic inspiration die to the roll this time. Yeah,
or even, how about this? Or even they just succeed instead, and you can only use it. You can use it.
Then you put a cap on.
Then you put a cap on it. It's like, hey, no, you're not. Like, hey, it's almost like a counter spell against one effect on one person. I think that would be fine.
I like that. My reservation there is that, you know, you're level 20 and you're playing against some big bad who has this incredibly powerful like mind control condition in the DC.
Yeah, you're just locking
with a DC of 20 or something like that, and it's just like, doesn't matter what the DC is, doesn't matter.
That's
matters.
true.
Like,
yeah, it would be a bit of an elder brain killer ability. No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. This is certainly better. Hey, it's 7th level. You're also getting your 4th level spells. You're also getting polymorph.
Right.
You know, at this level, so you can have it's a little ribbon ability on top of your 4th level spells.
Okay. Do we want to jump into the new subclass? There's a new subclass.
Let's just take a look. We should, yeah. I just want to take a look. Just if you scroll up slightly.
Yeah.
I just want to see what the new words of creation is.
Words of creation.
Just down slightly. It's on the right there. There you go. 20th
there
level.
we go. Level 20. Yeah. Okay, you have mastered two. You've mastered 2 of the prime words of creation, words of life and death. You therefore always have Power Word Heal and Power Word Kill spells prepared. And when you cast either spell, you can target a second creature with the spell, provided that creature is within 10 feet of the first target.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very fun.
A Power Word Heal, I think in particular, is really strong. Power Word Kill feels awesome until you cast it on a target that has 101 hit points, and then it does nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, if I had some sort of meter where I knew, but then of course that would be metagaming and it would be lame. But like there's always that thing.
Yeah, I agree. Power Word Kill is it's actually sort of an impossible spell, because if a DM uses it on a player, obviously the DM always knows what hit points the players are. Right. So it always, no matter how you use Power Word Kill, it feels metagamey.
Yeah.
But I agree. Power Word Heal is the powerful one, right?
At level 20, 100 hit points. Like you've probably done the same. I built plenty of characters who, excuse me, who can burst for well over 100 hit points at like level 9.
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If you're level 20 and you've got a 9th level spell slot and you want to deal 100 damage, you can do a meteor swarm, you know,
sure.
or anything, right? Like you're
Yeah.
gonna do way more damage. So, but yeah, you're right. The power word heal is the power word
Right, full health.
heal is
two allies now. Boom,
Yeah.
all the way to full. That's pretty good.
That's pretty huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Power word kill is there to make it cool. Power word heal is the power. Really.
Yeah. All right. College of Dance. I love it already, just in the name.
Yeah, I haven't seen this before. So I'll take the first ability. We'll go alternating from there. So we'll jump in at 3rd level. There's some beautiful lore, I'm sure. But to the meat, dazzling footwork, 3rd level feature. So your practice of dance gives you the ability to gracefully dodge and make agile strikes. While you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield, you gain the following benefits. So your armor class is equal to your dex modifier plus your charisma modifier.
Ooh, unarmored defense for bards.
Yeah, a bit like the monk or the barbarian.
Charisma.
Yeah, with charisma.
But
and
yeah,
agile...
no armor or shield. Sorry.
No,
shield,
yes, so you can't. Normally,
like
bards get the light armor, but yeah, you have to be completely unarmored.
Yeah.
And then agile strikes. When you expend a use of your bardic inspiration as part of an action, a bonus action, or a reaction, you can make one unarmed strike as part of that action, bonus action, or reaction.
I love it. Oh, this is my new bard monk.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's like they've given the bard a little bit of the monk. And then if we roll like the next one, bardic damage, you can use dexterity instead of strength for your unarmed strikes. And when you deal damage with an unarmed strike, you can deal bludgeoning damage equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration die plus your dex modifier. So it will grow just as the monk does.
Yeah.
So it really
it scales faster because it starts at a D6 and then it goes to a D8 at, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think they will have pushed
a similar improvement, right?
Yes. Yeah. And even if it didn't, you could take that. There's a fighting style you could pick up with a 1-level fighting dip.
Style, yeah.
So you can get the D8 right away.
Yeah.
Very fun. Yeah, cool.
I like it.
It feels like the bard monk here, pretty much exactly. So yeah, you take the next one.
Okay. Also at 3rd level, inspiring movement. When an enemy you can see ends its turn within 5 feet of an ally of yours who is within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction and expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration to move up to half your speed. Then roll your bardic inspiration die, and the ally can move up to a number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. None of this features movement provokes opportunity attacks. Okay, that's cool. I mean, there's some decent utility and kind of support there if you've got a squishy ally who's about to get clobbered by a big bad. You can move, and they can move up to 5 times the number that you roll. I mean, that's a lot of movement, depending on what you roll, I guess.
Yes. Okay. This just takes a lot. This feels like algebra coming on here. It's like, okay, so someone an enemy within 60 feet of you finishes its turn within 5 feet of an ally of yours, and then you use your reaction to roll a dice. You move half your speed. They move 5 times.
5 times what you rolled. So you roll a D8, or well, I guess at this level it'd be a D6, right? And you get a 4. Now they can move 20 feet.
20 feet without okay, yes. So it's a defensive option.
Yeah.
It essentially would let you, ideally, swap position with a spellcaster. Yeah. So your squishy wizard gets cornered by a troll. They can run away, and you can run in and then stop.
And your dancing bard who punches with charisma. Is it dexterity?
Dancers are always
dexterity, sorry.
They're always very angry people. I've never met a dancer who didn't want to like throw down when they could.
Yeah, this isn't. They're not doing. This is not like modern contemporary dance. This is like the paso doble that they're doing. Anyway,
I could see it. Yeah, what's that? There's a Brazilian fighting style, isn't there? Which is basically dance fighting.
Oh yeah, capoeira.
Capoeira, I could see
definitely.
Right, I could definitely see people taking that theme for this. I think that'd be very cool.
For sure. All right. Okay. Tell us about leading evasion.
So, when you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed, and you take half damage if you fail. So this is the evasion. The rogue gets this as well.
Right.
If any creature within 5 feet of you are making the same dex save, you can share this benefit with them for that save.
Okay.
But only if you're not incapacitated. So it's evasion that the rogue gets, but even better.
Yeah, because you get to share it with allies as long as they're 5 feet. Man, 5 feet is not a big range, but
No.
you know, cool if people happen to be lucky enough to be standing next to you. I wish that were like a 10-foot aura at least, but still, that's
Yes,
nice.
I mean, this feels like a bard that wants to be near the enemy.
Right.
So
right.
hopefully you will be next to your fighter or your barbarian. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. That seems good. Yeah.
Also at 6th level, so it's not the only thing you get, tandem footwork. When you roll initiative, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration if you don't have the incapacitated condition. When you do so, roll your Bardic Inspiration die, choose a number of creatures within 60 feet of yourself, up to a number equal to your Charisma modifier. Each of them gains a bonus to their initiative equal to the number rolled. Wow.
Ooh.
Everybody,
Very nice.
Everybody gets a bump to their initiative roll. I like it.
Yeah, by level 6, that could, if you were like really optimizing, that could be 5 people already. And even if you're not, it's 4.
Yeah.
This is looking like an extremely good bard subclass. Bearing in mind that you also get to add half your dexterity, half your proficiency bonus to your initiative anyway as a bard, you're going to be going fast a lot.
Right. Although I'm not sure. I think in the UA they've changed it so that Jack of all trades doesn't affect.
Is it
rolls.
only on an ability? Yeah. Okay. They could have done. No, I think you're right there. That's a shame.
Regardless.
Okay, but yeah. Even so, this seems good so far, but not broken, but good.
No.
And okay, last level, 14th. So there used to be a 10th level feature. They've taken that out. I guess they've put 2 in at 6 instead.
Mm-hmm.
You always have the Otto's Irresistible Dance spell prepared. You can cast it without expending a spell slot. Once you cast the spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of the feature by expending 4 uses of your Bardic Inspiration. So that's a lot. I think you only have like sort of 6 at this level. Like, let me check.
14th level.
Oh no, it might only be 4
Bardic Inspirations. I mean, it depends on your charisma, right?
It's 4 or 5.
So yeah, you might have 5. You probably have 5 by 14th level, but still, that's all but 1. Granted, you get them back on a short rest. So I mean, this is potentially Otto's Irresistible Dance, which is a 4th level spell. 3rd level spell.
It might be 6th actually. It's
is
good.
It that high?
I
knew it was a good spell.
Yeah. It's good because it has no saving throw. You just, they just have to use all their movement and can't move their space.
Right.
And they can only use a wisdom save as an action, right? So it's almost like giving them the stunned condition, and they might even fail. So it is a very good spell.
Yeah. And I mean,
level spell.
Like for free, that's an extra, if it's an extra 6th level spell slot per long rest, or potentially per short rest if you're giving up your Bardic Inspirations for it, that's not bad. I mean, it's a big sacrifice.
It is. I think most people will be using this. Yes, that's it. It's the theme, right? It's beautifully thematic. Yeah. And I imagine most people will be using this once.
Sure.
But yeah, very nice.
Still. Okay. And that is it for the Dance Bard. I like it. Glamour's got some changes. Should we just read? Why don't we just read the gray box? Yeah,
we'll read the gray box. So the Glamour Bard, you take the gray box.
Okay.
I'm going to look up the original.
Here are the main updates since its appearance in Xanathar's. Mantle of Inspiration now grants a number of temporary hit points determined by a roll of Bardic Inspiration. Cool. Beguiling Magic, formerly Enthralling Performance, has been redesigned to focus on enhancing your enchantment and illusion spells. We should probably read that. Mantle of Majesty now ensures you always have the command spell prepared, and you can restore your use of the feature by expending a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. Got some sirens wailing in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. And then Unbreakable Majesty now triggers on a creature hitting you, and can negate the hit. Cool. Sounds like some nice buffs. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah, so it's still basically the same, like Beguiling Magic. It's you're charming people who, oh no, it's different.
Immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, you can cause a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself to make a Wisdom save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, your target has the charmed or frightened condition. Okay, so you're casting an enchantment or an illusion spell. Could be any enchantment or illusion spell. Invisibility, I mean, I think Shadow Blade is an illusion spell, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I think so. There's lots,
you know,
definitely.
yeah, but isn't Bless an enchantment spell?
And
Okay, so
Bless is,
anyway,
it doesn't even need to be, it can even be a cantrip.
yeah,
So it's
right.
you
It
know,
doesn't say first level,
yeah.
right? On a failed save, the target has and then any creature, you don't have to use your reaction, anything. It's just I cast this spell, and now any other creature within 60 feet, Wisdom save, and if they fail, they're charmed or frightened, our choice, for 1 minute. They get to repeat the save at the end of each of their turns, but that's pretty good. Now you can only do it once per long rest,
It's a long rest.
or with the Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, yeah. So you can do it quite a lot by
That,
level 5.
that's a pretty nice control feature. I like it.
It's funny because you can cast Minor Illusion. You can make an illusion of whatever you like, and you can make someone terrified of it. You can Minor Illusion Smash Mouth's All-Star, and people will just poop themselves with terror, like in real life.
I would run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would willingly fail my saving throw. All right, I like it. That's cool. Okay, let's skip.
Seems, yeah, it's a bit more of a it's a bit more control kind of into the glamour, which seems good. But
yeah, I like it. I would pair this with like an enchantment wizard and just be the best controller in the game. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. They've got a rework of College of Lore too.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the day box here?
Yeah. I think it's at the top. So, bonus proficiencies has gone back to allowing any skill to be chosen, so that's fine. That's what it was originally. Cutting words can reduce damage again.
Cool.
Because obviously it used to be that it could. They took it out because they used to be able to heal, but they can't now.
Right.
Magical discoveries, formerly called additional magical secrets, has returned, and it now allows you to replace one of the chosen spells each time you gain a bar level. So we'll have to take a look at that. And then Peerless skill now benefits both ability checks and attack rolls, not just ability checks. Okay, so it seems like Cutting Words is the same that we've always known.
Yeah.
It looks like the main difference is that this magical discoveries. Do you want to take that?
Thank you for bringing it back and even improving it. You learn 2 spells of your choice. Okay, they can come from Arcane, Divine, or Primal, or any combination. A spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell for which you have spell slots, as shown on the bard table. So all the same there, really. You always have the chosen spells prepared, and whenever you gain a bard level, you can replace one of the spells with another spell that meets the requirements above. That's awesome. Because
that really is any spell in the game at that point.
Well, and I mean, the fact that because obviously typically when you get this as a lore bard, you're taking 3rd level spells usually, or maybe the shield spell and a 3rd level spell, right, or whatever. And now it's like, okay, well, a 3rd level spell now, but like next level, like there's some 4th level spell that I really want, and then after that there's a 5th level spell that I really want. That's awesome. I like it.
It essentially lets you snag the best spell of every level all the way through the game.
Yeah. They've got Valor Bards in here too. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 4 per class in this.
Okay. This is going to take the rest of the day.
Yeah. It is. Okay, that's fine. We can keep going. We might just focus on the main important subclasses, like the new ones. But we'll finish off this one, which is College of Valor updates, pretty minor. Martial training now allows you to use a weapon as a spellcasting focus, which makes total sense.
Yes.
And then Combat Inspiration has 2 changes. The defense option is now triggered by being hit, and the offensive option works with attacks of any kind, not just weapon attacks. Okay.
Cool.
So we can see the difference right below. So yeah, it's literally just here, Combat Inspiration. This is the only difference.
Yeah. You can use your wit to turn the tide of a battle. A creature that has Bardic Inspiration die from you can now use it also, right, for defense. So when they're hit by an attack, they can use their reaction, roll the Bardic Inspiration die, and add the number rolled to its AC. Oh, this is the Swords Bard Flourish, but for a friend. Although it only works on that attack, so it doesn't last until your next turn.
Yeah.
Offense, immediately after the creature hits a target with an attack roll, the creature can roll the Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to the attack's damage against the target. So it's a smite for your friend.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
And otherwise, it's pretty much the same.
Pretty much the
same, we're on to the Cleric. Okay.
Sweet. Any final thoughts on the Bard before moving on? It feels good.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. It's less. The bard wasn't changed too much, and it feels like they've worked back even more. So even less is changed now.
Yeah.
Really, it comes down to that power word heal, power word kill thing, which I like. And we've got the counter charm, which is just a better upgrade. So it's almost like this is just a bard plus, right?
Yeah, it's just they're just some bard buffs. Kind of feels like classic cool new subclass.
Yeah, not so bad at all. Cool. Okay. Let's take a look at the Cleric updates. So here are the main updates in this class since its last playtest version. So Divine Order, formerly called Holy Order, has moved from 2nd to 1st level. The Thaumaturge option has been redesigned to include elements from the former Thaumaturge and Scholar option. So we'll have to take a look at that because I don't know what that means offhand. Yeah. And spell casting has one noteworthy change. Okay, it's the same as for the bard. Spell casting,
no longer tied.
Spell preparation isn't tied to your spell slots. Great. Oh, there's more. Okay. Do you want to? Yeah, you take it from here.
Channel Divinity is returned to 2nd level, and its number of uses now increases with your cleric level and isn't based on your proficiency bonus. They're trying to get rid of multi-classing dips there. In addition, you regain 1 use whenever you finish a short rest. Oh, that's nice. Wait.
I think you always did, didn't you?
Maybe in the previous UA they changed that.
They took that out.
I'm forgetting now. But just 1 use, not all uses.
Not all uses, yeah.
Of course, you only ever had 1 until you got to Cleric 6 or something, right? Anyway, the healing and damage of Divine Spark has also changed, and Turn Undead now uses the incapacitated and frightened conditions. Okay. Finally, the multi-classing sidebar has a new rule for Channel Divinity. Oh, so like if you're multi-classing with Paladins, I guess.
Yeah.
Cleric subclass levels now match the level progression in the 2014 Cleric, except subclasses are at 3rd level. Smite Undead now uses your Wisdom modifier rather than your proficiency bonus. Again, maybe hampering potential multi-classing shenanigans. We have also clarified that this damage doesn't end the turn effect on an undead. Okay, so when they're turned, okay. Blessed Strikes now lets you choose Divine Strike or Potent Spellcasting. In 2014, a subclass gave you one of those features. In this playtest, you now get a choice. That's great, except for in Tosh's Cauldron of Everything, it gave you both.
They did, yeah. You had an option that was kind of half of each.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
That's fine. I mean, most of the time, you know what you want, by the time you get to level 8, especially anyway. Commune is now a 9th level feature. Improved Blessed Strikes is a new 14th level feature. I'm guessing it's probably similar to Paladins, but oops, maybe not. And then Divine Intervention and Greater Divine Intervention have been redesigned to allow reliable results. Cool. This was the most requested change. Yeah, I like that. Because having like a 10% chance of success just made it feel like,
I know what you mean.
Worked.
It's hardly worth it if it's so low. I understand that it's very exciting, but at the same time,
you want something that's semi-reliable.
Yeah.
Greater Divine Intervention has returned to 20th level, replacing Epic Wounds. Okay. So there's probably some stuff that we need to look at here.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, this Channel Divinity. If you have more than one class with the Channel Divinity feature, class's use of the feature can be expended only on that class's Channel Divinity options. Oh.
Okay.
I like that. I think.
To be honest, I'd never considered the alternative. I'd never considered multi-classing Cleric and Paladin and using your extra Channel Divinity
I think I'd only done it once or twice, but yeah, you run into this weird thing where you have lots and lots of Channel Divinity options, but you can only use one regardless, right? If you have more than one class, the Channel Divinity class's use of the feature can be expended only on that. Maybe I'm not reading it right, but it sounds to me like if you have Paladin levels and Cleric levels, you can use a Channel Divinity on your Paladin for your Paladin thing and a Channel Divinity for your Cleric thing, and then take a short rest and get both of them back.
Yeah, I think that's right. What they're saying you can't do is use your Paladin Channel Divinity to use your Cleric Channel Divinity twice.
Right.
Fair enough.
Which sure, fine. But yeah, let me if I've invested the levels into 2 classes with Channel Divinity, well, let me use both of their Channel Divinities and not just still get 1 use of Channel Divinity per short rest, right?
Yeah. No, you're totally right. Yeah.
Okay.
So this Divine Order is a bit different. Actually, I'm just reading it now. This is interesting. So let me know what you think about this. You've dedicated yourself to one of the following sacred roles of your choice. Protector, you gain martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. Or Thaumaturge, you know one extra cantrip from the divine spell list. In addition, your mystical connection to the divine gives you a bonus to your religion checks equal to your wisdom modifier.
Yeah, I mean, like, it makes me happy that I've got a way to get easy heavy armor and martial weapon proficiency on a wisdom-based character.
That's what I was thinking too, right? Like, I thought a big reason they were changing these subclasses was so people could, because Cleric is arguably the best first level dip in the game.
Yeah.
Arguably. Maybe Warlock, but because you can grab that that heavy armor proficiency on anything. So, and you still can. So
yeah,
clearly that's not something they're actually concerned about, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just scrolling up to see, like, what are we missing? They're not putting any kind of restraint on this. So, no? Yeah, just as I mean, I like it, and I like that. Because before, right, they would put one of these type of things in the subclass, and it's like, well, I'm a Twilight Cleric, and okay, I guess I have heavy armor and martial weapon proficiency. I'm not planning on playing this character as a melee character. I want to be a support-focused spellcaster, So all right, I guess. I like that it's like, no, you can choose at first level. Like, we're not going to try and shoehorn a subclass into a playstyle. We're going to let you choose, at the beginning how you want your cleric playstyle to feel, and then let you choose, the subclass that you want. I kind of like it. Thaumaturge, though, just kind of feels like the weaker option every time.
Yeah, it's very strictly weaker. When I was reading through it, what I imagined before I'd finished is it was going to say you learn one cantrip of your choice and you get a bonus to damage rolls for that cantrip equal to your wisdom modifier. That's what I thought it was going to say.
Yeah.
But I guess they give you that at like level 7, right? That's kind of what the blessed strikes equivalent is. But I think that would be better than I don't know how religion checks come up very rarely.
Right. It needs to be more than just a cantrip and a bump to your religion checks. Make it so that you can not even. How about you can use your wisdom for like all intelligence-based checks, or I don't know, something, or maybe a bump to cantrip damage.
Yeah, maybe if it was a couple of other checks as well, like maybe like religion, persuasion, stuff you could justify, bringing, calling up God for a little help with this perception check. Yeah, perception.
Perception. The spirit is speaking to you to clue you in about something. I don't know.
If you add your wisdom again to perception, it could be cool. But yeah, that's fair enough. The other stuff, the channel divinity is the same.
Yeah. They said they changed divine spark. Just really quick. Yes. As a magic action, you point your holy symbol at another creature you can see within 30 feet. Focus divine energy at them, roll 1d8 and add your wisdom modifier. You either restore hit points to the creature equal to that total, or force the creature to make a con save. On a failed save, they take necrotic or radiant damage, your choice. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much. Okay, so you can roll an additional d8 when you... Okay, so it scales with cleric levels, which I think is the big difference. I think before it might have been scaling with proficiency. Treant Monk did a video about how overpowered this was, but I think it was because you could just take a 1-level dip and
just be healing
crazy benefit. Yeah.
That's very fair. They certainly watch us. Because I've seen.
I don't think they watch me. They might watch you.
No, I'm sure they do. They definitely watch me because I've made a video. And then 2 months later, had like multiple things. Just they watch a video, they watch a short, and they just strike it out. Like, get that the hell out of here. I saw it with I did a video about like flinging people through the air with Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
You're like as a halfling, and I saw the very next UA. It was like absolutely not Eldritch Blast, repelling blast, horizontal movement only. It was very fun.
Yeah.
So they might have done that in response to Treant Monk's video. Because Chris knows what he's talking about as well.
Yeah, he does. Okay. Let's see. Subclasses. Smite Undead. Right. Oh, I wanted to see. Yeah, Blessed Strikes. You gain one of the following options of your choice. Okay, right. You have to choose either like weapon attacks or cantrips.
So it's very similar to the Tasha's thing. Basically, they've given the Tasha
Yeah.
thing to everyone.
Well, although with Tasha's, it was like you can add a D8 to a weapon attack or a cantrip. It was just like,
Oh, right.
Both.
Whereas
Everybody
now
got
you're
both.
adding a flat 5 to a cantrip, or you're adding a D8. Okay.
right.
I
Anyway.
think the potent spellcasting is usually the better.
Yeah.
Usually cantrips beat weapon attacks.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
my-
just depending on what kind of cleric you're playing, right?
Yeah,
Um,
true.
Divine Intervention, they changed.
Oh, I was going to
they
say,
said,
this
go ahead.
commune thing is new, isn't it? Just slightly up there.
Oh, yeah.
In the past, you have reached the divine source of your power through prayer. Now you can also have brief conversations. You always... Oh, so they just give you the commune
Commune
spell.
spell. Okay.
You don't even get it for free, but okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then Divine Intervention, you call on your deity as a magic action. Choose any divine spell of 5th level or lower that doesn't require a reaction to cast. As part of the same action, you cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components even. You then can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. I like it. It's like you can just do something instead of like roll a 100-sided die and you got a 10% chance of something really cool happening at the discretion of your DM. It's like, that could be awesome, or most of the time it's going to be nothing. And then depending on my DM, you know what I mean?
You're right. That is funny. I don't know the divine spell list offhand, but I'm trying to imagine what spells.
I
would
mean,
be good.
resurrect, right? Where
Right,
it costs
yes,
like
revivify.
1,000 diamond.
Yes,
dust
it's for emergency healing, of course.
Yeah,
Bring people. And isn't that just perfect flavor as well?
Yeah.
You know, a tragedy's happened, someone's died. That's
Right.
where you get down on your hands and knees, and that's when the miracle happens,
Yeah,
right?
I like it.
Yeah, wonderful flavor. Makes total sense to me. I'm a fan of that.
And then improved blessed strikes just scales. 2d8 weapon damage. But then with the spellcasting, instead of increasing the damage, it's temporary hit points. So you do extra damage with the cantrip and give you or an ally temporary hit points. Okay.
That's not bad. It will not go well with the Twilight Cleric that's handing out temporary hit points like candy anyway.
Well,
but...
maybe they don't do the Twilight Cleric.
Yeah.
Of course, it's backwards compatible, so the Twilight Cleric is available.
True. Yeah. If it really is backwards compatible, then that's useless for a Twilight Cleric. But hey, that's only one subclass, right? You know, we don't need to kick them when they're down. People seem to, that's always, I'm definitely, I like to hope we're fair. But obviously when we say something isn't good, we're not having to go at the designers.
No.
We're just saying that, hey, this could be better. And we understand that they're working incredibly hard, incredibly stressful conditions, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they're lovely people.
That's something that I could do a better job of emphasizing in my videos when I like to poke fun at something being overpowered or underpowered. It's just like, hey, I'm not trying to tell anybody that they're bad at their job or call somebody an idiot. It's just like, I think with a little more playtesting, we might realize that this is undertuned or overtuned. That's all. Okay, so greater divine intervention. You want to read that for us?
Yeah, okay. So you can call it even more powerful divine intervention. When you use your divine intervention, so as a magic action, you can choose wish when you select a spell. Nice. If you do, you can't use it again until you finish 2d4 long rests.
Okay.
Oh, and there you go. And when you cast wish with this feature, you're immune to the stress caused by using wish to do something other than casting a spell.
That's pretty powerful.
Yes, it reminds me of the Genie Warlock final feature is a bit like this, but it's only 5th level spells and below, isn't it?
Right.
Whereas this is anything. So people love the spell wish, understandably. So it makes sense, right? Wish is kind of the ultimate divine option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to go through? Should we go through the subclasses that people know? Or should we save subclass discussions for only the new subclasses? Because like I say, there is like a lot to talk about.
There is, you're right. I'd be happy to just do, life domain.
It looks, you know what? Very similar.
Yeah, why don't we just read through it real quick?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, yeah, you
life
take
domain, Domain spells once again include first level spells, and Prayer of Healing has been replaced by Aid. Okay, that's nice. Disciple of Life is now clearer that its extra hit points are based on the spell slot expended. Preserve Life has been redesigned to give more flexibility in how you protect yourself and others. Healing spells are almost all abjuration spells. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, now. So the revised feature applies to almost all defensive and healing spells on the Divine list. Cool. Blessed Healer is now clear that its extra hit points are based on the spell slot expended. Divine Strike has been replaced by Blessed Strikes in the base class. Right. And then Supreme Healing now applies to Channel Divinity as well as to spells. Cool. So just some clarifications there for the Life Cleric and some quality of life increases, it sounds like.
Nothing dramatically changing it, yeah.
Now, the light domain we haven't seen yet in the UA. Do you want to read through
Yeah, let's take
this?
a look at this. So bonus cantrip is replaced by Divine Order in the base class. So the light domain used to give you a bonus cantrip, but now you can pick it up as the thaumaturge option. So the main spells contain several different spells, so you get some different spell options. Warding Flare now has improved Flare rolled into it, allowing the cleric to use this feature on themselves and allies. Oh, that's the one that protects someone or yourself.
Right.
Very straightforward. Revealing Light is a new 6th level feature, so I'll have to take a look at that.
Sure.
Potent spellcasting has been replaced by Blessed Strikes in the base class, that's fine.
Yep.
And the unfortunately named Corona of Light now also benefits Radiance of the Dawn, and it no longer requires an action to deactivate early. Okay, so actually very similar. The only new thing really is Revealing Light.
So as a bonus action, you can present your holy symbol and cast See Invisibility without expending a spell slot. When you cast it in this way, your allies also gain the benefit of the spell while within 10 feet of you, so you get a little See Invisibility aura. Until the spell ends, you emit bright light in a 10-foot radius, making all of your Shadowblade users everywhere really angry. Dim light for an additional 10 feet. I always wonder about that. The light rules in D&D are weird, right? So it's like, okay, I'm casting dim light for an additional 10 feet. So does that like override any bright light that might have been in the area? Probably not. Like I'm always thinking about Shadowblade. So it's like, if I stand just 10 feet away from you, am I now in dim light regardless of what the light conditions are like otherwise? Probably not. Depends on your DM. Anyway. Okay, so it's just See Invisibility for you and your friends.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's not great.
It's an extra thing. To be honest, actually, it's pretty disappointing considering it's the last feature you get for 11 levels.
Yeah, it seems like the only thing.
Yeah, you get this at 6th level and then you get nothing for 7. I'd have liked something a bit better. Maybe everyone in the light gets, a bonus to initiative or a bonus
or a
to
little heal
perception.
or
Yeah, exactly.
Something. Okay. Trickery domain, which, gosh, I love thematically, but mechanically, I've just never found a good reason to use it. Do you want to
let's take a look. So domain spells has an updated spell list. Blessing of the Trickster can target someone up to 30 feet away, and clerics can use it on themselves. I can't remember what the Blessing of the Trickster does, so I'll have to remind myself.
Well, let's see. It's as an action you can choose yourself or a willing creature within 30 feet of you to gain advantage on stealth checks.
Oh, okay.
Lasts for an hour.
Okay, it's fair enough. You'd be better off with just Pass Without Trace, wouldn't you, at that point?
For sure.
And then you've got Invoke Duplicity, which is their really fun ability where you make 2 of you. It requires a bonus action rather than an action. It's no longer concentration. And when you teleport, when you first use it, you teleport when you first use it, not just when you move the illusion later. So it's strictly better.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not concentration is actually
no
huge.
Concentration.
That's suddenly
massive.
That's suddenly a whole. That takes the whole build from trash to really good.
No, exactly. It's like the whole every time I'd go to try and make a trickster cleric, it's just like this really cool feature requires concentration. Now I can't cast bless. I can't do like spirit guardians, like all these things that you want your cleric to be doing. Now they can do it and have this like bounce around teleport stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, and then Trickster's Magic is a new feature that replaces Cloak of Shadows, which was poorly rated. And you can now turn invisible with your domain spells. You've got invisibility, which is a great spell just for anyone to have.
Yeah.
And then
we'll read about Trickster's Magic.
Yes, and then it's just Divine Strikes. Seen that all of these will have it. It's replaced, and improved Duplicity was poorly rated and now has entirely new function. Okay, so there's quite a few things to check.
So let's check Trickster's Magic. If you cast a spell of the Illusion School using a spell slot, you can change the spell's casting time to a bonus action for this casting. That's a sorcerer meta magic
Yeah,
equipment
it
spell.
is.
As long as it's illusion school. Provided the spell's casting time normally in action. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. They're really getting away from the proficiency bonus times per day.
Yes.
Which is
yeah.
probably smart, but it still makes me sad because it makes multi-classing a little harder, but that's okay. Probably good for the game.
It's better early though, isn't it? Because you can have this
Sure.
5 times a day at level 6, whereas normally you don't have it 3 times.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking stuff like you attack, you bonus action invisibility, and you move away. Something like that, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah.
what they're looking at.
So
it seems pretty good.
Or you bonus. I mean, this would be expensive, but bonus action invisibility. Now you have advantage. To
Yeah, so you get your advantage on your cantrip, and then,
sure,
but it would
or
end.
your attack or something. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You can use this feature. Oh, you already did that. Okay, what's improved duplicity?
So the illusion of your invoked duplicity, so that's the one where you make another copy of you,
Right.
has grown more powerful. When you create it, you can teleport up to 120 feet rather than 30 feet.
Wow.
And when you move it, you can move it up to 60 feet rather than 30 feet. In addition, when your allies make attack rolls against a creature within 5 feet of the illusion, the attack rolls have advantage.
Wow, you
Pretty
and
good.
your allies. That's nice.
Yeah. Finally, when the illusion ends, you or a creature of your choice within 5 feet of it regains a number of hit points equal to your cleric level. Okay,
Nice.
so yeah, I'm guessing mostly it'll be you regaining those hit points,
Sure.
unless you're lucky enough to have it next to someone when it dies.
Sure.
But yeah, for it plays into. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
This is not the next Twilight Cleric or anything, but
No.
hey, it's
no,
better.
but it's better. It's much better. Okay. Should we do War Domain? Let's see. Bonus proficiencies. We know domain spells have changed. War Priest now lets you use the mastery property of a weapon. In addition, the bonus attack recharge thing. That's awesome.
Oh yes.
Because before it was like, what was it? Wisdom modifier times per day. You can bonus action attack when you take the attack action, which is like, or you can take the polearm master feat and do that always, or whatever. And yeah, or 2-weapon fighting. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yes.
kind of cool, but this is way better because I love the weapon mastery things that they're trying to do.
I think they need to push it further, but they're in the right direction.
No, I agree. In addition, the bonus attack recharges on. Oh, you still get the bonus attack, but it recharges on a short rest, not a long rest, and it doesn't have to be paired with the attack action anymore. Okay.
So you can
open some things up.
You'd be like turn 1 action bless, bonus action attack, and then future turns you attack and attack again, or cantrip and attack again.
Right. Although it looks like, I'm guessing you only get it once per short rest. Is it saying? You're training with weapons whenever you finish a long rest, you can change the kind of weapon. You can make 1 weapon attack as a bonus action, equal to your wisdom modifier. Okay, so it's still equal to your wisdom modifier, but you get them back on a short rest. That's so much better.
3 or 4 times. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
So much
I like
better.
that more.
Guided strike now lets you benefit yourself or another creature. Cool. And it's triggered by missing, ensuring it has a greater chance of causing an attack to hit. That's great. You don't have to decide before. War God's Blessing has been redesigned to allow the cleric to protect allies. The former functionality of this feature has been incorporated into Guided Strike. Cool. Divine Strike, we know. Avatar of Battle now provides resistance to all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, not just non-magical versions. That's like enemies in 5e don't often have magical attacks, surprisingly, though they're often resistant to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's much less than you'd think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like dragons don't have magical.
Right.
The Terras doesn't
Right.
have magical.
Right. But still, it's nice when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like Raging Barbarians, I guess. And that's the Cleric. Okay, that was a little quicker. We're getting better.
Yeah, we're getting a bit smashing this, dude. I'm rubbing off on you. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about them?
It feels mostly like some little things, like some minor little tweaks and bumps and changes here and there. But again, almost all of them, maybe universally all of them, like small improvements or medium-sized improvements. So yeah, no complaints. again, though, like it's almost lessening my excitement for the next version of D&D because it's not another version. They've been saying that and we haven't believed them, and I'm starting to believe them now.
No, I agree. I mean, this is a common thing with Wizards of the Coast and with companies generally, is they'll try and dictate how you talk about their material. It's up to us what we call this, right? It's not up to them. Even though they've got the best of intentions, I'm sure Jeremy Crawford believes it when he says it's not a new edition. But if we decide that it's a new edition, then it is. And we call it what we want to call it. But yeah, I agree. It's sort of this mix. They've definitely tweaked that people really want it to be backwards compatible, which means they can't change much. But if you're not changing much,
I have to wonder.
What's the point, you know?
And maybe this is a tangent that I shouldn't go off on here, but like, are a lot of people asking for this to be backwards compatible? If you're watching this video, I want you to comment. Make a comment in the comment section and let us know, like, how much do you care about backwards compatibility? To be honest, like you and I, like maybe I need to backpedal here, because we should be thrilled if it's backwards compatible, because that means that all of those YouTube videos that we've been creating for the last 2+ years, right, are still viable.
Yes.
And might continue to get views, as opposed to what I've been thinking about and fearing is day one 6E drops, and now like my entire backlog of character builds are obsolete.
Useless.
It's probably better for me, I guess.
I really don't want to guess at their motivations, because I hate it when people guess at my motivations. You know, if someone says you clearly did this for this reason, it's very frustrating. But I wonder if they've changed tactic because they're very worried that people won't buy these books at all, or any new stuff if they change from 5e to 6e to 6e, because they worry that people just don't. People are already annoyed enough at Wizards of the Coast at the moment generally. They're like that. Look, if we say, look, and we've made a whole new game, people will just be like, well, I don't care. I like 5e. I won't buy anything you do anymore. I'm just gonna stick with 5e. And that's terrifying, right? As a concept, it's like, oh my God, we need to make sure that people keep buying our stuff, which means we need to reassure them that no matter what, yes, all your old stuff will work. Even if that means making this product a little bit worse, or which is just exciting.
It's just interesting because that's not something that Wizards of the Coast or TSR before, or was it TSR? No. Oh gosh.
I've got no idea. Not a history buff on
the previous owners of the D&D IP.
Was it not TSR?
Maybe it was TSR.
I think it was TSR who used to run them. Yeah.
Second guessing.
Yeah,
myself.
It is. No, anyway, you're right. Totally. You got it.
They've never done that before. There's never been, to my knowledge anyway, like a big fear from the creators of Dungeons and Dragons about releasing a new version of the game every so many years, right? Some of them have done better than others, and maybe they don't want to recreate the flop that was 4E, right? It seems interesting to me that they're like, we're not gonna release a new version because that's gonna make you angry with us.
It's a less confident attitude. When they announced it felt they came from a position of maybe misplaced confidence, but it was like this phenomenal strength. Like we're gonna do everything. You're gonna love these new books. It's gonna change everything. You're gonna have to buy them, and we're gonna make so much money. They didn't say that, but that's kind of the this is gonna be massive. And then it feels like the closer we get to it, the more it's like, hey, you can buy these if you want. I think Jeremy Crawford even said that, like, we don't want to make people think they have to buy them.
Right.
Which is a very noble intent, but I wonder if he ran that by the marketing team. Because I feel like the marketing team would absolutely want to make people think they had to buy them.
And it kind of just makes me think, like, are they more interested at this point in like regaining the goodwill of the fan base than they are about necessarily putting out a new product that's going to sell loads and loads of books? Or maybe they think the best way at this point for them to sell more books is to regain the goodwill of the fan base, I guess.
Well, I hope so, because I genuinely believe that is the best way long term to sell more. So this could be a good thing. But I agree, it feels like they are walking stuff back, and this cleric is so similar to the old cleric, or the current cleric I should say, that I think if you put them side, like I play with my family, right, D&D quite often. I reckon if you put the cleric side by side of I've always like, hey, to my sister, what's the difference? And she read through it. She'd be like, it's the same. Like she wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And I think most D&D players wouldn't really notice the difference.
Sure.
So, but if that's what they're going for, they nailed it. If they were going for something different.
But there are still improvements, no question.
There are, yes, definitely.
Particularly to the subclasses, I think. And so, that's nice. I'm all for making previously pretty weak subclasses that I had a hard time justifying using in my builds more interesting and viable now. So it's like, oh yeah, like I totally want to build a trickster cleric, trickery domain cleric now. Kind of finding an interesting way to take better advantage of the teleporting while still being able to concentrate on a different spell.
And I think that's a good idea. Honestly, that's quite a good idea for a book. Like if they're like, hey, look, this book is just we're giving like 4 subclasses for every class. Some of them are
purple
repeats.
Dragon fighter sucks.
Is good now. Yeah, we made it good.
Make it interesting and usable.
Yeah, that seems great actually. So at that point, I'd recommend the book, but only if you didn't already have those subclasses.
Sure.
But anyway, we'll talk about the Druid because this is one where people were really upset.
Yes.
So let's see if they did stuff here. So do you want to take the gray box on this one?
All right, Druid updates. Channel nature has been cut in favor of restoring wild shape at 2nd level. Okay. Druidic now also makes sure you always have speak with animals prepared. Okay, that makes Druidic actually kind of useful. Primal Order is a new 1st level feature, which lets you improve your armor and weapon proficiencies or your spellcasting. I want to read about that. Wild Shape has returned to 2nd level. The feature has returned to using beast stat blocks. I liked the templates. They just needed to make them better.
Colby, come on.
Okay, look.
Get with the narrative.
No, listen. I just did a video on a Moon Druid, right? And don't get me wrong. Like, I love the idea of like having all of these different beasts that I can turn into, and each of them do cool different things. But the reality tends to be, personal opinion, I suppose, that there's really only 3 or 4 for each challenge rating that are worthwhile. You know what I mean? And
you're right. Yes, entirely.
And if you're going for damage, then this one's the clear winner. Sure, this one makes like some cool grappling, but like it's up only a +4 to hit, and the DC to get out of it is a 12. So like it's not that good. You know what I mean? And just stuff like that. It's like, give me those templates, but let me customize those templates with like a list of different features that I can choose from, and then give me scaling on them. So that I don't run into this thing where it's like a level 2 Moon Druid is like a god among mortals, and like at level 10, you're only this much stronger than you were at level 2. It's like...
I agree. The problem is with the beasts, right? It's like they're not balanced against each other. Like if you if you put the brown bear into a CR calculator, it comes out stronger than CR1. Like they just didn't do a very good. So, but yeah, I just love that. What I didn't like is that every beast felt the same. I want a real. If I turn into a Velociraptor, I want to feel like a Velociraptor, rather than just. Exactly the same as a bear. It's
just so much more work for them to have to balance beasts with, keeping in mind that our players might be able to turn into these things.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't see any new beasts in like books that come out recently, right? They're just like, this is too much headache. Like no new beasts. And so we're all stuck just with elephants, when we get to Druid, Moon Druid, whatever.
I do get that as well. I'm making a Druid subclass right now, which can turn into certain types of Fae that we're actually making this specific type of Fae.
Yeah.
And that means that we can design every single Fae with a special idea that people will turn into it, and it gets you new cool features that change how you play. But because they've got so many beasts already, they can't really retroactively do that.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but we can move on. But you make a great point. But, Reddit is angry, Colby, and you better get on their side or they'll come for you.
All right, here we go. Wild Shape. Return to using beast stat blocks. New rules for how you interact with those stat blocks. In addition, so we might have to read that. In addition, using Wild Shape is now a bonus action for all druids. Cool. And swim speeds are available from the beginning. Also cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Spellcasting has one noteworthy change. Spell preparations, okay, we know this. Wild Resurgence has moved from 15th level to 5th level and has been redesigned. We might need to look at that. New feature answers the desire to have more flexibility between using Wild Shape and spells. Elemental Fury, new 7th level feature allowing the druid to increase the effectiveness of their cantrips or their attacks with weapons and Wild Shape. So it sounds similar to the Cleric's whatever. Okay, Commune with Nature is a new 9th level feature. There's a lot of new stuff here. It feels like improved Elemental Fury is a new 15th level feature, improving whatever option the Druid chose for Elemental Fury. Arch Druid now includes, this was the most powerful 20th level feature in the game, arguably. Now includes the ability to turn unexpended uses of Wild Shape into a spell slot. It's also returned to 20th level. It might still be just as good or better. Okay, so...
Okay, lots to go through.
What do we need to read here?
The Wild Shape is definitely the one, right? Because it's changing how it interacts with things.
Okay, so Primal Orders, like with Clerics, you're kind of choosing the feel of your Druid. Do you want to...
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, so Magician, one extra cantrip from the Primal spell list. In addition, your mystical connection to nature gives you a bonus equal to your intelligence checks. So they've definitely set themselves a template here.
Yes.
Not great.
No.
Train for battle, you gain martial weapon proficiency and medium armor training. Okay. So yeah.
Now am I wrong? They've done away with the whole druids won't wear metal armor thing.
I think that's
right?
Completely out. Yeah.
Thank goodness. Sorry for you lore people who think that's bad.
It's
it was so
they're
wonky.
In shambles. Grognards are in shambles.
It's like either give us like dragon scale and ironwood options early, or just get rid of they won't wear metal armor, because it's such a, and then there's so many tables that are like won't doesn't mean can't, and so it's like,
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, no, you're completely right.
But that's funny that it's medium armor only. I mean, sure, druids, they're I don't know, clerics, in my mind clerics are more sort of tanky, but whatever.
Yeah, you can kind of I mean again, we get the point where Warden is obviously better than Magician, right? Medium armor proficiency and all martial weapons is better than having one extra cantrip and a slightly better nature check.
Right.
So
right.
Okay, right. So it's Wild Shape. Here you go. You take this one. So this has got to be different.
The power of nature infuses you as a bonus action, transform into a beast that you have learned for this feature. See known forms. Okay. You stay in that form for a number of hours equal to half your druid level, rounded down, or are incapacitated or die. You can leave it early as a bonus action. Known forms. You start knowing 3 forms for this feature. Chosen from among beast stat blocks. Okay, so it looks like they're going for some sort of hybrid here that have a maximum challenge rating of 1/4, lack of fly speed. Rather than choosing, you may start with the riding horse, spider, and wolf. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one of your known forms with another eligible form. When you gain certain druid levels, you learn additional forms. Maximum challenge rating for your form increases. And then at 8th level, you get flying again. Okay, so 3 forms at 2nd level, 4 at 4th, 5 at 8th, up to a max CR of 1. You can use Wild Shape twice, regain on a short rest. And then all these, okay.
Oh, it's very different. Yeah. So let's just talk about what we got up to here, because game statistic looks like it changes everything. So known forms looks like what they really seem to care about was that like paralysis of choice for new players.
Right.
So they're saying, look, just pick 3 beasts and you can always turn into them.
Yeah.
Rather than every time you Wild Shape, you have to go hunting through the book for the perfect one.
Right. Which I feel like maybe it's just me, but like if I'm playing a Moon Druid, I'm doing that anyway. Like I've already got a list over here of.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. You're already picking the bear, the velociraptor, or the or the hunting spider if you want to go stealthing. That's it. So
or climb walls.
Yeah.
Okay. And then other than that, yeah, you can swim, and it's pretty much the same otherwise, right? But then we get into game statistics. Okay, you read here.
I just want to point out also that you retain your ability to speak now. Before you didn't. So you retain your ability to speak. Yeah. That's something that I've been putting in almost every druid subclass that I make up is like, hey, you can also speak. Because it kind of like force, it's too useful. It's too useful. Yeah. So game statistics. So you replace your game statistics with the statistics of the beast, but you retain your hit points, hit dice, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, class features, species traits, languages, and feats. You also retain your skill and saving throw proficiencies and your proficiency bonus for them, in addition to gaining those of the creature. Right. Okay, so so really all you're getting is the creature's traits, their actions, and their strength,
charisma, or constitution,
dex and con. Yeah.
They should probably have said that instead.
Yeah, they probably should, but yeah, that's what it boils down to. You can take their actions, you get their damage resistances and immunities, everything in that little area of the stat block. Right. And then if the creature has the same proficiency as you and the bonus in its stat block is higher than yours, use the creature's bonus instead of yours.
So that's the same.
Sense. If the creature has any legendary or lair actions, you can't use them. Okay.
Right. Can't cast spells.
So yeah, can't cast spells, but transforming doesn't break your concentration.
Yep.
This is a common. That's already the case, but I get like a comment a day by someone who doesn't understand that and tells me that I've made a mistake, saying you can call lightning as a bear. You can. And then your ability to handle objects is determined by the form's limbs, and your equipment. This is all the same. Your equipment melts into your form.
Okay. So well, I guess they're just getting rid of templates.
They're getting rid of. Yeah.
It sounded initially as I was reading it like they were going to give us like a choice to choose from known forms, but I guess I'm wrong.
That's what I thought too. But no, you just choose 3 beasts.
Okay, let's go 5th level Wild Resurgence. If you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you can give yourself 1 use by expending a spell slot. Cool. No action required. And in addition, you can expend 1 use of Wild Shape to give yourself a 1st level spell slot. Okay, so you can kind of, it's a little bit of a meta magic-y feel to it, or sorcery points.
Yeah, you just, no action required, so.
Yeah. I like it. What about, Elemental Fury? I'm sure we know what that is. Yeah, it's the same as the Clerics.
They're very close to the Clerics now.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
I like that. You can choose cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage. You choose when you hit with
an attack roll. So it does. So you can replace an attack roll with a bit of that damage, or an extra 1d8 fire, cold, lightning, or thunder.
Yeah.
They definitely seem to be pushing this idea that druids can be feasible as sort of a medium armor shillelagh, longsword wielder now.
Right.
Which is pretty interesting,
Yeah.
It's a lot like a fighter in a way. Like you can build a druid in that way now.
What about commune with nature?
Where's that one? Am I? Oh, right, ninth
level.
Remind me what commune with nature does.
Expression of nature itself, and you commune with natural world all around you. Always have the commune with nature spell prepared. I don't remember.
No, I've just pulled it up now. So you gain knowledge of the land within 3 miles of you. It's a roleplay spell.
Okay,
you learn
utility.
The terrain and bodies of water, plants, minerals, animals, people.
All right. Some exploration utility.
Yeah, it's a little something.
Improved elemental fury. Sorry, that's just kind of like with the clerics.
Very similar to the clerics, right? It's basically the same. When you cast a primal cantrip with a range of 10
feet or greater, it's increased by 300 feet.
What's Thornwhip's range? Is Thornwhip's
30? It's 30 feet, and it'll pull them 15. But it's a 30-foot range.
So yeah, you can Thornwhip someone 300 feet away. That's hilarious.
Them to 285 feet away.
Yeah, you're still only pulling them a little bit of away. That's very funny though.
Yeah.
As an idea.
That's a long whip.
That's a long way. If you were flying race, Thornwhip someone 300 feet below, yank them in the air, they fall prone.
There you
go. A little combo for you. That one's free. And the extra damage goes up to 2d8. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Beast
18th level, that
spells,
looks
same
interesting.
thing,
Yeah.
right? You can cast spells in beast form. That was the same, right? As
That was in the old one, yeah.
right.
But
And then
only if they
Archdruid.
lack. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. You take Archdruid, and then we'll talk about
Okay.
this.
Evergreen Wild Shape. Whenever you roll initiative and have no uses of Wild Shape left, you gain 1 expended use of it. Nature Magician, you can convert uses of Wild Shape into a spell slot, no action required. Choose a number of your unexpended uses of Wild Shape and convert them into a single spell slot, with each use contributing 2 spell levels. Okay, so it's just a buff to what they could already do and just let you get better than the first level spell slot.
Yes.
Longevity, the primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly for every 10 years that pass. Body age is 1 year. Okay, so it's way nerfed compared to the current.
Oh,
you can just use it forever.
Night and day. Absolute night and day. This is overall a huge nerf to Druid, right? Because the biggest difference here is that your wild shapes don't change your hit points. So you're keeping your same hit points all along.
Because you retain your hit points. Yeah, it doesn't do the whole you get their hit points and then when you're reduced to 0, you fall out of the shape.
So
you're in that shape. And when you go to 0 hit points, you go unconscious and you revert to your humanoid form.
Yeah, so big debuff, really.
Yeah, it's definitely a nerf. So that's why, I feel like now Moon Druids probably get, some things to mitigate that, I'm guessing.
I should hope so, yeah.
But yeah, and nobody, hardly anybody's going into is using Wild Shape for combat purposes other than Moon Druids. So maybe it doesn't matter that much.
Maybe it doesn't. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
As an expert on builds generally, this is an interesting question. Do you think it matters if some builds are just stronger than others, as long as they're all fun?
I personally love finding ways to build characters to make them more powerful. That to me is a big part of the fun of Dungeons and Dragons. So and frankly, for my Pathfinder viewers out there, or for the people who don't like Pathfinder, I suppose, it's increasingly something that almost bothers me a little bit about Pathfinder, is that it's so well balanced that it almost feels like it doesn't matter what choices I make. Some people are going to be really upset with me for that comment, and that's okay. But and so it's like that's cool because now I can play whatever I want. It really opens me up to be able to really create the character that's like thematically and like conceptually what I want, and I know I'm going to be viable, right? But I want to find things that like, oh, if I do this and this and I put those things together and I do this, then something really cool happens and I feel like more powerful, and that's fun to me, right? And so I get a little nervous when I see game designers, bring things maybe too in line. Now there's a happy medium there. Like it sucks when there's something like a Hexblade Warlock that's so good, right? That like, it's just like, well, everybody's going to take a Hexblade Warlock dip. Every paladin, every bard, every sorcerer, you know what I mean? Just a level of Hexblade Warlock, yeah, no brainer, because it's so powerful. So you can definitely swing too far the other way. As far as like if something's more powerful than something else, right? But I'm totally okay with there being like different power levels of like subclasses and spells and features and things like that, so that it can make like putting a character together more interesting and fun for me.
No, I agree. You phrased that beautifully. It's something that I completely agree with. I don't think it's a problem actually if some stuff is stronger than other things. And I think the problem it's dangerous, like you say, because in the interest of balancing stuff, like with the new Warlock that they did, they are so focused on balancing it that they actually stripped away all of its gameplay identity. You know, it doesn't regain spell slots on a short rest anymore because it's impossible to balance against other things. But, you know, that's the risk, is that when you bring everything together equally balanced, suddenly nothing's really special or exciting so much. And I think that's sort of what's happening here. Let's just talk about this new Circle of the Sea, and talk about the Circle of the Moon. So they're the bottom two.
Okay. In the interest of time, we're skipping over land.
Let's talk about this Circle of the Moon because it's going to be different.
Okay.
I'll go first. So Circle Forms returned to the 2014 version. As in that version, the feature's improved at 6th level. So it's now called Improved Circle Forms. And now Combat Wild Shape lets you use either your AC or the Beast Form's AC, which is great because a lot of beasts have great attacks but low AC.
Yep.
And this feature also says you always have Moonbeam prepared, so you've got your concentration option. And you can cast it in Wild Shape form, so that's fantastic.
That's great.
Moonbeam's a decent spell. And you can also still cast Abjuration spells while in a Wild Shape form, with most healing spells now belonging to the Abjuration.
Nice.
And then you've got Moonlight Step, which allows you to teleport, and Lunar Form, which enhances other features in this subclass.
Okay.
So I just want to add here that they did say they were leaning much more into the moon side of Circle of the Moon. And this sounds like what they're doing. So, but what isn't here, which I thought might be, is there is still nothing that gives you more hit points. Oh wait, never mind. I've seen temporary hit points. Okay, yeah, you take it. Combat Wild Shape.
Okay. When you assume you can your AC or theirs, great, including any armor you're wearing, but not a shield. So it doesn't let you assume that you have a shield. While in that form, you use whichever AC is higher, then temporary hit points. When you assume a Wild Shape form, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the form's hit points. Oh, well, there it is. Or three times your Druid level, whichever number is lower. For example, if you turn into a wolf, 11 hit points, as a 5th level Druid, you gain 11 temporary hit points, since 3 times your Druid level is higher than the wolf's hit points. Okay, there you go.
Beautiful as well. What a great solution. I love it.
That's elegant and simple.
Whoever came up with that idea did a great job.
Abjuration spells too, that you can cast those, and Moonbeam. I mean, this is nice.
Nice.
These are really good, like, quality of life and just buffs for Moon Druids. And now, divided by 3, rounded down, just like it was. In addition, each of your attacks in Wild Shape can deal its normal damage type or radiant damage. So not magical for the purposes of overcoming resistance to non-magical attacks, but just radiant damage or
just radiant. So probably slightly worse, actually. Very slightly worse.
Very slightly. There's not a lot of enemies with resistance or immunity to radiant damage in 5e, but they're out there.
I guess I'll take Moonlight Step. Yeah, you magically transport yourself. As a bonus action, teleport up to 30 feet to an occupied space, and you have advantage on the next attack roll you make before the end of this turn. So it's basically a slightly improved Misty Step.
Yeah,
and you can use it
wisdom mod times per day.
So 5 times a day,
or
by using a second level spell slot. So it's very close to Misty Step.
Misty Step.
We know that's a
with
spell.
advantage, right? With the advantage at the end.
Yeah, very nice.
And you can do it obviously while you're in Wild Shape form, so that's great.
Yes.
Then you've got Lunar Form, movable Moonbeam. While your Moonbeam is active, you can move it up to 60 feet at the start of each of your turns. No action required. Normally, it's an action to move it. That's fantastic. Shared Moonlight. Whenever you use Moonlight Step, you can also teleport one willing creature. That creature must be within 10 feet of you, and you can teleport it to a non-occupied space of 10 feet. This is great, and this is something that I want to see Wizards of the Coast do more. And it's, as much as I love multiclassing, I also don't necessarily want it to be like the no-brainer go-to solution all the time when you're thinking just about mechanics and power, right? And so, like, give me stuff that scales. Not just increased damage, though there should be that too, right? But cool new things that make what you're doing easier to do or more powerful to do, or that give you a nice utility override, or, et cetera, et cetera. I love these changes.
Yeah, I like this. This retroactively makes me like the Druid a lot more, In terms of how it actually works, this is very close to what we have anyway, but a little more balanced,
nice
right?
improvements,
Just
yeah.
a little more balanced, and it more flavorful. This is so much better than their first UA.
Yes.
For the Druid.
The big potential drawback, though, is still like the Moon Druid's power in the end is going to be directly tied to beasts, right? And so,
there is
you give us like some better scaling CR beasts that they can transform into, like you're still running into the problem. They don't have. They've removed the ability to change into an elemental. Right?
Yes, I just realized that, which was like their big. They needed that power boost at level 10. Otherwise,
yeah. And so, now it's like, okay, well, I can be a cave bear instead of a brown bear, but it's not that big of a damage increase, or it's not that big of a power increase. And a third CR3 creatures. I mean, like,
so you got the Scorpion, right?
The Scorpion's great because you can make 3 attacks, but they're only like a +4 to hit. And your friends are all running around with +2 great swords.
Yes, you're right.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like,
and they don't even you never even get to, you can never get to the really exciting beast forms, which are the T-Rex and the Great Ape.
Right.
Because the highest you get to is, I think, the Mammoth at CR6.
Yeah.
Which is just,
and they're still only like a +6 to hit or something like that.
Because a CR2 creature is much more impressive at level 6 than a CR6 creature is at level 18.
Right.
It's so they still get worse as they go along, which is
so
a real shame.
There still needs to be, at the very least, what I'd like to see them add is some way to scale the hit chance. I don't even care about the damage. Give me an increase. Let my hit chance scale, like they've done with the armor class. Like you can use yours or the beast, whichever's higher. Give me that, but just for chance to hit.
Yeah,
or let me add my wisdom modifier.
As your wisdom, yeah,
exactly. Something so that it just the higher you get as a Moon Druid, the weaker you become compared to your allies.
No, yeah, I completely agree. But there, it's close, and it's a lot better than it was. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the work that we're doing. Like I say, we're not just tearing it apart. Right. They're doing a great job, but it's still got a little bit way to go. That's why it's good. We've got a year and a half before they release it, so hopefully they'll listen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look. So this is a whole new one, Circle of the Sea, and it's the last thing we're going to cover before we hop over to your channel.
Right. This is the end of part 1.
This is the end of part 1.
We said we were going to be shorter.
Yeah, not even close. I think we've been like 2 hours. It's okay. Circle spells. Your connection. So we get these circle spells. What do they look like? Fog Cloud is good. Shatter is great.
Water themed.
Water things. Sleet Storm. This is a nice list. Hold Monster. Control Water. Is okay. Ice Storm. Yeah. Big fan. Okay, you take Wrath of the Sea.
As a bonus action, you can expend a use of your wild shape to manifest an aura that takes the form of ocean spray that surrounds you. It lasts for 10 minutes. It ends early if you're incapacitated, or dismiss it. At the end of each of your turns, you can choose another creature you can see within 10 feet of yourself. The target must succeed on a con save against your spell DC.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Or take thunder damage, and if the creature is large or smaller, be pushed up to 15 feet away from you. Okay. To determine this damage, roll a number of d6s equal to your wisdom modifier. And that was just a bonus action. No, well, that's not bad. I mean, it's
bonus
kind of
action. You trade a wild shape.
It's kind of a mini Spirit Guardians, but with a push, with a movement overrider if they fail their con save.
That's it. But 5d6 as a bonus action ain't bad.
Yeah, is it half
max?
On a? Is it half
no,
on a
it's
save?
just nothing. That's the problem. And how often are people failing con saves?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
I wonder sometimes. I'm assuming that the developers have to be aware of like how bad like things that target con saves are generally, right, in 5e, and I get nervous about that though, because it's just like, like so many monsters in 5e have really good con saves, and especially when it's like, if they save, nothing happens, like Stunning Strike, for example.
Yeah.
It's like, this feature is hard to balance because everything, not everything, but
that's
so many
it.
things have a good con save.
It's basically what they do when they want to give you something really good,
Yeah.
but they don't want it to break the game. It's like, give it to con saves. It'll only happen a quarter of the time.
Right.
But to be fair, even if, well, it takes a wild shape to use. That's the
and a bonus action.
And a bonus action. But it is still nice. It's one of those things where is it every creature or is it one creature? No, it's just you choose one creature. Okay.
One other creature.
Yeah, so because 15 foot of force movement isn't nothing either. With smite growth or whatever, it goes a long way.
To be fair, it's a bonus action to like get this going, but it doesn't require concentration. It takes a bonus action. It takes a bonus action and a wild shape. Then it doesn't require concentration, and then just to do that damage doesn't require any resources.
Oh, I thought it was it just lasts for right. I missed that. I thought you had to use a bonus action a wild shape every time. Oh no, I think this is really good, dude.
Yeah.
I agree. Con save sucks, but even if this only hits a quarter of the time, 5d6 plus, and then if you set it up with your spike growth, or something,
or your
like
moonbeam,
or your moonbeam, you're dealing some stuff.
That con save though, I want it to be any other save. I'd settle for strength. Even. Yeah,
strength it would be,
or give me a way to. Well, I don't know. We've got silvery barbs, right?
Yeah, that's true. God bless silvery barbs. You heard it here, folks. Yeah. No, I agree, though. You're right. Yes. Con save makes it very reliable, but I think that's quite cool. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I agree, though. Strength would be better. I'd rather it dealt less damage, but it was strength.
Sure. If you want to balance it, just make it less strong, but more reliable. I would way rather have something that I can count on that's less powerful than something that's awesome when it works, but most of the time it doesn't work, right? Anyway.
But yeah, let's take a look. Aquatic Affinity. You always have the water breathing spell prepared. In addition, you get a swim speed equal to your speed. And if you use a wild shape to assume a form that lacks a swim speed, that form gains your swim speed.
Okay. It's utility.
It's utility,
When you need it, it will be awesome.
Yes.
Most of the time, you won't need it.
But yeah, I'm also imagining if only you need a swim speed, you just turn into you wild shape into a creature with a swim speed. Sure. So I love that first third level ability. This one feels weak. I would rather something else, honestly. Yeah. Put water breathing in their prepared spell list. Give them water breathing. But what
and you can cast and you can do this for like up to wisdom modifier number of allies or something like that.
Yes, something like that, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Wrath of the Sea confers 2 more benefits while active. Wrath of the Sea was that 3rd level feature that the aura, the damage. You gain a fly speed equal to your speed now when you have it active. That's awesome. Yep. You have resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder damage. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, great.
Useful.
I like that. And then Oceanic Gift, whenever you use your Wrath of the Sea, so they're building it all around the Wrath of the Sea, which is a nice, easy way to make sure your subclass feels very thematic. Right?
And it encourages you to continue putting levels into Druid.
Yeah, so you can manifest the aura around one willing creature within 60 feet of you rather than around yourself. Okay. I'd love it if it was both, though. The creature gains all the benefits of the aura and uses your spell save DC and wisdom modifier for it. In addition, you can manifest the aura around... Oh, okay. No, sorry. I spoke too soon. You can both you if you use 2 uses of a wild shape instead of 1.
That's awesome.
So you'd always do both. That's fantastic, yeah.
That's really great. That's really great because, I mean, now, if you overlap them, they're not going to do double damage, right? Based on how rules work in 5e currently anyway. But it still like really extends the area of effect essentially by letting you put it around somebody on that side of the battlefield and on yourself or whatever.
You've given someone flying, you've given them resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder. You can each use your bonus action to push them back and forth if they keep failing their saves, right? If you're lucky enough.
Actually, now you stick spike growth in the
middle. You ping pong
them. Oh, I love it.
Yes,
it's a con save though.
Yeah. You would need a little silvery barbs backup, but that's the fun thing. You can give this to a wizard and they'll cover you on the silvery barbs.
There you go.
I'll
give you Wrath of the Sea if you promise to use some silvery barbs for me once in a while when they make their con save.
Yeah. And you can tell a good subclass when it makes you imagine when you're instantly imagining how you're going to use it. That's a good subclass. I just think this 6th level ability needs to be better, but this is already a very good druid class.
Yeah.
This is on a level with, I think this is on a level with sort of like the wildfire druid or the land, certainly better than the land original anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, that puts us roughly halfway through. It's always a pleasure talking with you, Colby. Thanks so much for being on. It's a delight.
I appreciate you doing this with me, Will. It's a lot of fun.
It is. It's just wonderful just to chat with you and just hang out anyway. So we're going to pop over to Colby's side now. We're going to do the second half. So, brew up another mug of cocoa, and we'll see you over there to talk about the remaining subclasses and classes. Thanks so much, everyone. Catch you later.
Cheers.